Hey guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project365, episode 51. Through the course of the week, we've been spending a lot of time down the lower extremity treating the symptoms that have already occurred into the lower extremity. Medial shin splints, lateral shin splints on the outside and the inside. We even got into the heel cord a little bit and talked about some of those symptoms and how we could treat those. Today, I thought it was only right then to let's talk a little bit about preventative maintenance. How could we stop or at least reduce the likelihood of getting some of these things that we talked about throughout the week? And here's how we're going to do that. We got a big calf muscle in the back, and the big powerhouse of this whole lower leg complex is comprised of two muscles mostly. Yes, there's other muscles, but we're going to talk about the two today that are responsible for plantar flexion, and that's going to be the gastroc and the soleus. Now, it only makes sense that if the muscles in the front here are responsible for lifting the toe up or the ankle up, and the muscles in the back are responsible for flexing or pushing the toes down, the ankle down, then if the muscles in the back were super tight, they would resist the action of the muscles in the front. Therefore, they would make that job harder and make it more likely, or more of those tissues to be more susceptible to overstress syndromes, such as the ones that we see in shin splints and heel cord problems, all those other type of things. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to mash and stretch the posterior calf complex the same way, but we're going to stretch it. We're going to mash it the same way. We're going to stretch it in two different ways, and I'll make that distinction in a second. So here's what we got. When we get onto the calf itself, we're going to start where we left off yesterday. Heel cord kind of comes up and stops about right where that bottleneck starts, or it does. It turns from fibrous tissue to more muscular tissue. That's where we're going to get on it with the roller itself. I'm going to take the bottom leg, cross the top leg over top, and I'm going to get on here and start rolling back and forth. I can get to the side, treat some of those tissues on the side. I can get to the inside, treat some of those tissues on the inside. Once I spent my 2 to 4 minutes prepping this tissue, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stretch. Here's how we do this. If we're going to distinguish really quick the difference between the gastroc and the soleus, it looks like this. Gastroc, big meaty part of the Coke bottle. Soleus is the neck of the Coke bottle. The way that we stretch them is two different ways. The gastroc goes across two joints. It goes across the knee joint and also the ankle. So when we want to stretch it, we keep the knee straight. When we want to emphasize the stretch on the soleus itself, we need to bend the knee to slack the tissue of the gastroc to get a better stretch and emphasize that stretching and emphasize the stretching on the soleus itself. So here's what it's going to look like. We're going to find a doorway. We're going to start with a straight leg. We're going to get our heel tight to the bottom or the crack of the door, and we're going to stand straight up. We can do a contract, relax here. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. As we breathe out, we pull ourselves just a little bit closer. Notice my leg is completely straight. We can do that. Spend about 2 to 4 minutes doing that. Afterwards, once we finish the gastroc, what we're going to try to do now is emphasize on the soleus. Here's how we do it. We're now going into it with a bent knee. Everything's exactly the same, but now I have a bent knee, and what you're going to notice is I'm stretching much farther, but I'm also stretching. I'll feel the tension in the tissue at a different spot. Instead of up here in the meaty part, I'll feel a little bit more of it down here. And we can do the same exact thing. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Get a little rudimentary contraction, relax, and stretch. Now, the thought process of that is make the posterior calf complex more supple, reduce the strain on the anterior shin region, and reduce the likelihood that you're going to cause some irritation, overstress syndromes, and knock those out before they even start. Guys, it's not always about treating the symptoms, but rather preventing them. That's how we can better optimize function to optimize performance. Until next time, I'll see you guys tomorrow.